Welcome to the Balls Not Court podcast. Cortez Paulus here. My partner Kevin Carter is not here with us today. He is actually in Orlando. He is vacationing with his wonderful family. And so therefore, I'm going to do the podcast by myself, get some information out. We'll discuss the sports current events as far as basketball, football, anything else that is in relation to sports. I will be covering all the topics for us today. Anyways, welcome. I know many of you don't hear me speak much on the podcast. I'm the one who's always hosting the show. But believe me, I can talk a little bit, and I can talk all day when it's in regards to sports. So, I'm going to do the best I can here. Just pay attention to me, and I will have my buddy assist me here. What? Nah, I'm just having a little fun. So we're going to get right into it. We're going to talk about the Ray Rice suspension. This is suspension that was laid down by Roger Goodell. Roger Goodell suspended him for 2 games back in February. The incident with his fiancee, now wife, Jermaine Palmer, now Jermaine Rice, married since then. Back in February, as you know, there was a TMZ video that speculated around the internet. And as you saw, Ray Rice dragging his wife out the elevator. And so we tried to, make a lot of it and see what was going on with that whole incident. And of course, Ray Rice went to court about it. It was just this whole crazy thing going on right now with the whole aggravated assault charges and everything that he has. So if he was to get sentenced, it would have been 5 years in prison. But as far as I see, the charges has dropped on that. Ray Rice actually played for the Ravens. If you didn't know that, he had a career lows in running the football last year. He was averaging about 3.1 yards per carry. And that was fewer than 1,000-yard total offense that he had 4 straight seasons where he at least had about 1,600 some total yards as far as running and catching the ball outside the field. Ray Rice is a threat on both of those, but he had a down year. But this whole incident came up where, they was in Atlantic City. And, of course, as I said before, you saw his wife getting dragged out the elevator back in February. So, honestly, those two got married back on the 28th. So, as Torrey Smith, he attended the wedding and said, everybody knows we're pretty tight. I'm tight with Ray. I'm tight with Janae. He's like a brother to me, and she's like a sister to me and my wife as well. To me and my wife as well. I went there, having a checkup on them, and they're happy. They're growing. They're trying to bear themselves from it. So, everything's happening, everything like that. So, of course, there's some controversy that come up about it because on First Take, Stephen A. Smith decided to discuss this along with Skip Bayless and Kerry Champion. Of course, what they're supposed to do. Anyways, here's Stephen A. video or comments. You can hear the audio feed that I'm going to play for you. You can see what he's talking about and see what your thoughts about this. And I'll expand on my thoughts about it.
About you. And here's what I mean by that. We keep talking about the guys. We know you have no business putting your hands on a woman. I don't know how many times I got to reiterate that. But as a man who was raised by women, see, I know what I'm going to do if somebody touches a female member of my family. I know what I'm going to do. I know what my boys are going to do. I know what I'm going to have to remind myself that I work for the worldwide leader. I'm going to have to get law enforcement officials involved because of what I'm going to be tempted to do. But what I've tried to employ the female members of my family, some of who you all met and talked to and what have you, is that, again, and this is what I've done this all my life, let's make sure we don't do anything to provoke wrong actions. Because if I come or somebody else come, whether it's law enforcement officials, your brother, or the fellas that you know, if we come after somebody has put their hands on you, it doesn't negate the fact that they already put their hands on you. So let's try to make sure that we can do our part in making sure that that doesn't happen. Now, you got some dudes that are just horrible, and they're going to do it anyway. And there's never an excuse to put your hands on a woman. But domestic violence or whatever the case may be, with men putting their hands on women is obviously a very real issue in our society. And I think that just talking about what guys shouldn't do, we got to also make sure that you can do your part to do whatever you can do to make to try to make sure it doesn't happen. We know they're wrong. We know they're criminal. We know they probably deserve to be in jail. In Ray Rice's case, he probably deserves more than the 2-game suspension, which we both acknowledged. But at the same time, we also have to make sure that we learn as much as we can about elements of provocation. Not that there's real provocation, but the elements of provocation, you got to make sure that you address it, because what we've got to do is do what we can to try to prevent the situation from happening in any way. And I don't think that's broached enough, is all I'm saying. Nope.
All right, so as you heard, that was Stephen A. take on the whole incident. And so I guess what people got upset about is the provocative word that came up, don't provoke. And of course, Michelle Beadle, who also worked for ESPN, came on and Twitter, and she went on a tweeting frenzy about the whole ordeal that Stephen A. Smith spoke on his opinions about it. I quote, "So I was just forced to watch this morning First Take. A, I would never feel clean again. B, I'm not aware that I can provoke my own beating. I'm thinking about wearing a mini skirt this weekend. I hate to think what I'd be asking for by doing so. Stephen A. Smith, hashtag don't provoke." Oh, well, first of all, I don't agree with the 2-game suspension that Ray Rice was handed. Definitely put your hands on a female of any sorts. There should be a bigger punishment than 2 games being suspended from the NFL, especially with all the, I want to say, the marijuana possessions and drugs that everybody else is getting bailed for, because everybody is failing the drug tests of the NFL. Josh Gordon is one, but he keep failing it over repeatedly. Justin Blackman was just one who just got busted recently, and of course they will be seeing suspensions as well. So it's kind of backwards saying that, okay, well, you can suspend Ray Rice for 2 games for putting a hand on a female, but you smoke or violate the drug policy, and you're definitely going to get a bigger penalty than you would put your hands on a female. Something I don't completely understand, something I do not agree with. I definitely thought Ray Rice should have probably got 4 games, even more than that, because, like I said, you should never have to put your hand on a female. In regards to the Stephen A. Smith and the Michelle Beadle whole fiasco, is I'm going to have to side with Stephen A. Smith on this one, because the fact that, listen, it's not saying we don't need to put our hands on a female. We don't need to, period. At the same time, females should not put their hands on anybody else as well. Now, that don't give you the right to sit there and provoke and everything like that and try to come and attack or say some verb. Now, if Jamae attacked, I want to say if she attacked him first, I don't know if it's self-defense and everything like that, but in regards to that, I guess what Stephen was trying to say is that make sure, at least what I got from it, or how I interpret it, is that everybody, both parties, we must try to watch what we're saying, try to be careful how we act, and everything like that, because we can't sit here and put our hands on a female, but regardless of that, we can't allow them to put our hands on them our hands on us as well. So, get some authorities involved, everything like that. That's your wife. That's your it's now your wife, and it was your soon-to-be, was your fiance. That was back in the time when this incident didn't happen. So recently, Ray Rice put out an apology, trying to apologize for the whole issue and everything like that. But people need to understand too, it's both sides too, because Miss Palmer, I'm gonna just say Miss Rice now, his wife, could have said something that probably ignited the whole thing. Now, with Ray Rice, if she says something, you gotta be the bigger man and let it go. You can't react by hearing her first. But if she swung at you and hit you first, and then you just probably I don't. That's why I say it's all speculation. You don't know if he could have just wrapped her up and put in a headlock, and you didn't really see any. But you just saw someone getting dragged out the elevator. And so it's really hard to try to speculate that. So it's just, people always want to preach equality and make sure we're on the same level as far as equal and everything like that, you have to respect it. My mom taught me I would never put my hand on a woman. But see, that's the thing. That's a situation where everybody can say they would never put their hand on a woman, but sometimes words hurt. They do hurt. They're like blades. They stab you in the back. They come at all angles. So you really have to be mentally strong and really prevent yourself from doing something really foolish, honestly, if you want to sit there and be honest about it. But just really foolish. There's no need to put your hand on a female. Females, as Stephen A. was saying, that, make sure you find your way to not provoke anything. So, but everybody's pretty much sensitive. Stephen A. pretty much usually tell how it is in most situations and everything like that. Now, people might not agree with his statement, but he was just saying, just make sure your words, your actions, and you don't instigate anything where you won't put the guy, or let's say like Ray Rice, I'm gonna say your husband, in an unpredictable situation because of certain actions. Now, to my women listeners, I do this. This is just me saying that I'm just saying I agree with Stephen A. Smith from that incident as well. And like he said, he does not condone putting your hand on the female. I don't either. I will try my best not to do that. It's not, you don't do it. You just, I know I'm rambling here, but you just got to find a way to just be stronger than that. And as the whole Twitterverse is going up and about it, the whole Stephen A. Smith and Michelle Beadle confrontation back and forth over Twitter. And now I don't know if Stephen A. is going to see a suspension or not, but I mean, I could see if it was something aggressive and anything like that. He was just saying, just don't provoke the situation and make sure that everybody had control of your situation. But then again, they could have been drinking. There could have been something going on. And once you start drinking or whatever you're doing as far as your social life, you start losing the grip of reality of some things. So, Lai says, it's all speculation. Ray Rice should have got more than 2 games, in my opinion. And we'll leave it at that. And we'll see what ESPN does about this whole situation. So, it'll be interesting to see if they actually suspend him or do Stephen A. Smith to come out and make a public apology, which I'm pretty sure it will. But I just think too many people is pretty much too sensitive about this situation. Regardless of the fact, what should have been looked at is that Ray Rice only got suspended for 2 games, and it should have been more. That's the problem with this. So, moving forward, I'm going to go a little bit to the NBA. We're going to talk about the Kevin Love trade rumors. The Minnesota Timberwolves power forward is still on the market. There's been a bunch of reported offers. We got the Bulls offer, who's offering Taj Gibson, Doug McDermott, and Nikola Mirotic. Honestly, that trade cannot be completed yet because McDermott and Mirotic has not signed their rookie contracts yet. And honestly, a few days, I want to say it was yesterday, an article came out saying that Nikola Mirotic was informed by the Bulls that he would not be traded by them. So, but that's rumors swirling around. So that's the Bulls offer for Kevin Love. The Cavaliers offer, as you know, which is right now, as the sports world is saying, is the favorite spot for Kevin Love to land, because now since LeBron has went back home to the Cavs, Kevin Love is trying to do everything possible to go play with Kevin Love, or trying to get Kevin Love to play there. And now, because Kevin Love withdraws from USA Basketball and this whole speculation coming up, trade talks, and everything like that, Kevin Love is just trying to prevent himself from distractions as far as playing USA Basketball. And so you got the Cavaliers offer. They're trying to offer Andrew Wiggins, Anthony Bennett, #1 draft pick, possibly 2. I'll get more on that later. The Golden State Warriors trying to offer Klay Thompson, David Lee, and Harrison Barnes. Those are the names that have been thrown around, but some people in the organization are not willing to part with Klay Thompson. So there's been rumors saying, well, we'll put Klay Thompson in the deal, and then there's been other sayings that, we're not willing to part with Klay Thompson, but we'll do a trade that could involve David Lee and Harrison Barnes and try to get a third team involved. A whole bunch of speculation been going on about this. So Steve Kerr is one of the advocates that want to keep Klay Thompson around because he's interested to see how his system will implement Thompson and Curry going forward, since he's the new head coach, has been hired in the offseason. So, also there been another weird rumor going around too that the Knicks, which I don't know why you'll take this offer, but the Knicks also offered Amari Stoudemire, Amish Shumpert, and Tim Hardaway Jr. to the Wolves for Kevin Love. So, but as far as I know, Kevin Love he's really pushing for the Cavs. Is what's being reported by many sports outlets right now. My thoughts about it: you got Andrew Wiggins, who had a solid summer league. He had 15 points, got one steal game, one block a game. You can tell him if you watch a few games in the summer league that Andrew Wiggins can actually defend the other side of the ball. And if you're trying to get the pace up and down and get on the break a lot more than you should have as far as your team and how you want to construct your team, Wiggins is the way to go. Also, Anthony Bennett, who was last year's number one pick, he lost about 15, 20 some pounds. And you see he did look slimmer. And actually his play looked pretty darn good in the summer league. He had about 13 points during the summer league with 8 rebounds per game, and he was definitely quick out the ball. Everybody put him as a tweener, and so he can still hit the 15-foot shot. So Anthony Bennett, you got to think about that. You get Andrew Wiggins and Anthony Bennett. It's not a bad start. The Bulls offer, I named that already. You got Taj Gibson, who got 13 points, 7 rebounds a game, and he 1.4 blocks a game, had a defensive rating of 100. So he was a solid defensive player. Tom Thibodeau, who coached the Bulls, is great at teaching defense. So at least you get a defensive player if you want to go ahead and go to the Wolves. But, where's that star potential? He's a little bit older. Klay Thompson was wonderful, 18.4 points per game, 3.1 rebound per game, 2 assists per game, 41% from three-point land. And he was definitely strong from the corner. He shot 46% from the corner threes. So this guy is a heck of an offensive player. And so it's really going to be between if the Warriors, I'm sorry, not the Warriors, the Timberwolves, if they want to go ahead and decide between Klay Thompson, who possibly could be a top 5 shooting guard in the league, his offensive repertoire, he's more than just a shooter. He can get to the rim and everything like that. And he was one of those guys that came along too when Curry did get cold, which was rarely. But Klay Thompson's a wonderful piece. Now, David Lee or Harrison Barnes, names that are thrown around, I don't know. It's what's intriguing for me with the Cavs offer is that because LeBron James has signed a 2-year contract, yes, we all know we had heard because the new TV deal kicks in, you got the new CBA coming up in a few years. LeBron is trying to get more money, more max money, and he already said that he wants to stay home, but everybody can speculate because he signed a 2-year deal, and then what if he gets cold feet again and leave Cleveland? Well, those number 1 draft picks become very, very intriguing. They become very, very valuable assets that you can use, that you have to your repertoire if you want to, do anything about that. So that's why I say you got a decision to make. You got Andrew Wiggins, and the good thing about Wiggins, you can market this guy. And in Minnesota, where you don't hear too much about the basketball team besides Kevin Love and Ricky Rubio, and in the West, it's hard to make the playoffs. So really, you know the Timberwolves, you know a little bit of their team. If you're a hardcore basketball watch, you do know about the Timberwolves. But if you're just one of those casual fans, the Timberwolves is pretty much last on your mind. So you hear Wiggins come play for your team, which I saw a stat somewhere where the Timberwolves, I want to say they was ranked at the bottom 5 in league attendance. And so with the Kansas City Jayhawks, when Wiggins and Embiid and whoever all play on that team as well, with that great team, they I want to say they averaged their attendance was a shade better than the Timberwolves. as the NBA team. So you can market the guy, you have a marketable face, and potentially, man, this guy can be a great player. So you can take the potential, and you already know the defense is there. So you got Ricky Rubio, who's willing to pass the ball. Go to Andrew Wiggins. You already got an offensive force, well, up-and-coming force. He looked good in the summer league. I'm not going to sit there and put that label on him now. But he did look pretty good. He slimmed down Anthony Bennett. And then you got these assets and these number one draft picks, possibly two of them. That Cavs offer is very intriguing, because what if LeBron does get cold feet? Then hey, you got them assets, you got something you can play around with, and you can build onto the future there. But like I said, Kevin Love, I think if he goes to the Cavs, if you get traded there, I already thought the Cavs were a top 3 team in the East. I know my co-hosts and other guests that's joined the show disagree with me. Kevin Love would definitely make them, in my opinion, the best team in the East. Will they win the NBA title? Will they do it next year? No, because the West is really, really, really strong. So I do believe that Kevin Love would definitely, like it's been said, it would favor their odds to go ahead and make a run at the title with LeBron and Cleveland. So, like I said, McDermott was solid too. Don't get it wrong. Doug McDermott had a good summer league showing in Las Vegas. He had 18 points. He was 42% from the field. So, Doug McDermott was telling people. I guess people was kind of putting that bus label on him, but the kid showed he can play. He can shoot the ball. I guess I can say he was good as advertised so far. So. He is an interesting piece that if you do want to trade him with the Bulls offer. But it's kind of weird because if you already signed Paul Gasol, you got Paul Gasol and you got Kevin Love. So who's going to start? I'm assuming that Paul Gasol came there with the intention to start. And so it's kind of interesting there. You got Noah. You got that whole rotation of Noah, Love, and Paul Gasol. But I will assume that Paul Gasol wants to start. But like I said, you get a shot at Kevin Love, who is a double-double machine. He spreads the floor. And probably one of the top 5 power forwards in the game right now. I know people disagree with me because they say he can get to the playoffs, but he's in the wild, wild west. If he's in the East, he'll definitely be in the playoffs. Come on, let's just be honest about that one. So he's a heck of a player, but he will definitely tip the scale if he comes over here to one of these East teams, and it'll be interesting to see what we have here. So, but yeah, so we'll see what goes on with these Kevin Love rumors. See how it plays out. Now he don't want to play. Now he's not playing in the Team USA because he wants to stay injury-free and be available in case he is traded. So we'll see where it works out. So we'll go with that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to take a intermission here. This is the Boston Report podcast. Cortez will come back soon. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Balls Not Court podcast. Cortez Paul's doing a solo, a.k.a. Cortez the podcaster, a.k.a. Cortez the man, a.k.a. CP3, a.k.a. CP triple, all the above, a.k.a. hot sauce on everything. Nah, I'm just joking, y'all. It's good to have y'all back. But like I said, we're just breaking down a little bit of what's going on in the current events of sports today. So, I got my buddy here who is here with me. Is my homie Lil John. Say something, Lil John. What? You heard him. Say something again, Lil John. Say something again. Yeah. Hey, I like to have fun on this podcast. We got to have fun. So we're going to talk a little bit about training camp. Some of the little hits that we've been having around here. So, Trent Richardson, who had, as you know, he got traded from the Browns to the Colts, had a little bit of a rough season trying to adjust. And he really didn't have a good year, as we talked on the last podcast about Trent Richardson briefly. But what we going to hit Richard, because now, what made this more interesting is that Vic Ballard, who was their leading rusher in 2012, is down with a torn Achilles tendon. So now the door is even wide open for Trent Richardson to do something. He did admit that he really didn't know the playbook much of Pagano's offense. So hopefully with a year down, that he knows the playbook enough where he can be effective. Listen, I had the guy as my fantasy running back, so I was a little bit disappointed because I had to keep up with Trent Richardson. And honestly, you thought he'd be better because he had a wonderful career in Alabama, but it's yet to come together for him. So hopefully, with a year down and getting down the Colts' offensive playbook, he'll be effective. And then, of course, what would this be if the sports world, including the Balls Not Court podcast, did not talk about Johnny Manziel? Apparently, he is still trying to fight for the right to party, but right now I guess I want to say when we talk about Johnny Manziel, what's the few incidents, at least of the last few months, has it been about football? Been very none. You go on Twitter, you go on his Instagram, you'll see pictures of him partying. And like I said before, I don't mind if you go ahead and have fun because you're a young man. Go out there and have fun. Go party. It's your life. Go enjoy it. But do know that you was a first-round draft pick. And soon enough, they was expecting you to hand over the keys to the franchise because obviously they didn't believe in Brian Hoyer enough that they drafted you. But now you're out broadcasting what you like to do. Go party. Nobody's telling you not to go party, man. Just don't broadcast it because now guess what? ESPN's going to talk about it. CBS Sports going to talk about it. Even a little podcast, Balls Not Court podcast, is going to talk about it. You had a heck of a year. You had a heck of a career in Texas A&M. You were solid. You shouldn't be doing this. Just go out there, play football. Don't broadcast your life. Go have fun. Brian Hoyer had a decent year before he got hurt. So, I mean, I don't know. Now the Browns, within their organization privately, as has been said, that they're worried about the first-round selection they have made to draft you, Johnny Manziel. Listen, all they want you to do is come in and learn because if you do put yourself in a situation where if you're going to be the future quarterback of this franchise, you just got to show the maturity level enough that you can handle it. Handle the pressure because you're having the pressure of about 60 teammates, got a full coaching staff, you got an arena full of players, or fans, arena full of fans, expecting something to happen. And how they going to believe in you when you just see your broadcasting your life that's like a party? I mean, you're just kind of easy target, man. The best I can tell you is go out there and play your game and don't worry about it because you need to start broadcasting it, though. That's the one thing that was getting people riled up. So stop broadcasting your news. Go play football. It's time to go play football, man. Football is less than a month away, and it's time to start focusing on football. But go have fun, man, because you're a young kid. But once again, don't broadcast it. All right, Houston Texans. As you know, there's been the Andre Johnson issue where he wasn't going to report to camp, but he did show up to camp. And as reported by Ian Rappaport, an NFL Media Inside reporter, said that Texas gave Johnson assurances that he will remain in their plans in 2015. So it was important to the wide receiver because he's due to earn $10.5 million next season. So, and he's a big part of their offense. Heck of a wide receiver. I know the Texans had a down year, but if they're going to have a bounce back year, Andre Johnson is one of those parts that they need to have on that field to play. The Rob Gronkowski, he spoke to reporters over the day of training camp saying that he still feels a little bit less than 1%, but he's being brought along slowly in training camp. But, you know, Gronk, he likes to play smash mouth, and he said he's still going to go full speed and everything like that. So it's not going to change the style what he's not going to do, but you would like for him to stay healthy because he is a wonderful player to watch, physical tight end, and he's entertaining when he catches the ball too with those end zone dances. So stay healthy, man, and don't rush it. But I know you like to go full speed, so do what got you there. Cardinals and Tampa Bay Bucks have mutually parted ways. Nick toes continue to be an issue after getting tagged for a dangerous MRSA infection. So pretty much they mutually agreed to part away from another. I want to say my weekend correspondent John were here, he'll be more to elaborate on that. So I'm pretty sure he will touch on that when he gets back on the show. Marshawn Lynch and his holding out with the Seahawks. And of course, Pete Carroll is disappointed about that. So you'd like to have Marshawn Lynch back because, as you know, his nickname Beast Mode, as he is a beast because he did it to my Broncos, but he is still holding out and wants to try to get what he wants to deserve and get paid and everything like that. So hopefully Marshawn Lynch come back, everything coming on. We got all these little contract disputes, so we need to go and get them resolved because everybody want to have their team in full attack and have football in the best way possible, playing against the best competition in the world. So get things straightened out. Drew Brees say he want to play till he's 45. I don't know how that's going to happen, but if you can stay in shape and go for it, Drew Brees. I'm all to hear what you're going to say. So that's some little tidbits of the NFL training camp that we have reported going on. Something else I want to talk about too, because the NBA, going back to basketball, they are considering to extend the All-Star break to a week, because usually it's a 4-day period of the All-Star break, and they're trying to do it to a 7-day break where teams will, and then what they would do on the schedule is each team will have at least one more back-to-back set of games. I honestly think it's a good idea for them to extend the All-Star break. One, because economically it would be a good idea for what cities they are in. You bring more money in to the city. You can do more events, especially when you got kids that like basketball. They're during school during the day. When they get out, you can do some events probably like around 6 to 8 p.m. where you can go ahead and meet and greet like you usually do. Just extend it out, have a good time. You can do different events. Like I know, they always did like the horse competition. They do the All-Star weekend, everything like that. You can just get more involvement in the city. Also, many players have complained about it because they say it's really not a break to him. One of them being LeBron James, basically because he does everything in the All-Star events. And I know we had a few. I want to say Anthony Davis was in all the events last year. The rookie sophomore game that they called the Young Guys Challenge. I've got the top of my head there. But he was part of that game. And then he also was part of All-Star Saturday night. Then he also took part of the game as he was a host for the city because it was in New Orleans the year before. So I know these guys are young. Well, he is young, so he can do it. But as far as guys getting older, that's participating in a lot of these events, they got a lot of media, pretty much a lot of media obligations they have to meet up to, so they always got to be on and about. So really, I can see where some of these players are coming from because it's not a long enough break for them. They get right into All-Star weekend and right back to basketball. So a week will do something, will do wonders for these guys. So I agree with it. And Adam Silver was coach saying one of the issues LeBron raised is a break during All-Star weekend. It's pretty much not a break for him anyway. He goes around the clock with combination of things he's asking to do, personal commitments, and I think it makes sense we can work in the schedule a few things so the All-Stars can get a break as well. So it does make sense. I know it's the week is for the All-Stars because they have been the best of the best players that's been playing. They get rewarded. But also give them time to enjoy the show. Give them a week. You know, let them enjoy the city that they go and do the All-Star games at. So I just think it'd be a great idea for them to implement that, make it a longer break for them. And I like it too because a guy like me, if it comes back to Orlando, I'll probably be down there every day trying to figure out what's going on down there. So it'd be pretty fun if it was to stay around here for a week, you know. So whatever they want to do with that, I do think that'd be a good consideration, everything like that. So we'll go with that. All right, I'm gonna do this. Look, we always do a rapid fire game, and I'm apparently gonna do one by myself, of course, because I am by myself. I mean, I do have Lil Jon on the show, you know, right, Lil Jon? Yeah. You know, Lil Jon's been here. He's been chilling with me. We've been hanging out, you know, podcasting, as he say one words, and I talk the rest of the show. So, but anyways, the game is rapid fire. I'm gonna go ahead and choose who I would like to be my breakdancers. What I'm gonna do is pick a breakdancing team of athletes who I think are, my opinion, some of the best dancers that I would have, and we will go to battle against whoever. Now, this would have been fun with Kevin because Kevin's a little bit of a dancer too. So have his team and have my team. We'll do a little battle. You know, we'll do a little show and everything like that. So it would have been fun having the athletes. But who I'm gonna have on my dancing team? I'm gonna have Ray. My first choice is gonna be Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis is one of those guys that does the whole, when he comes out. I know he retired. He does the whole look in when his introduction dance. But where he got it from, and if you ever pay attention to his media interview the year before, when they went to the Super Bowl, yeah, they was there to the Super Bowl. He said he got it from a dance, Let Me See You Do the Squirrel. And anybody in Florida, especially in Central Florida, knows that song, The Squirrel, where you sit there and take your hands and you do your knees. Basically what Ray Lewis is doing. And that dance was very popular back in the, I want to say, late 90s, early 2000s. So I can see him just getting it started. So that'd be my start guy. He'll come out, do the dance. And then the next two guys, because they did this celebration during the game, Roman Hopper and Malcolm Jenkins do my favorite dance in the world. And one of my favorite movies I like to watch, Weekends at Bernie's. So they do the Bernie. They actually did, they both did one together. So they, you know, you do the Bernie, you lean back and do that show. Like you do Weekends at Bernie. You ever watch the movie, he just walk around. This guy is supposed to be dead, but he's walking around. And so you can see him in certain situations where he's about to dance, but he's moving his shoulders. So those guys right there, you know, I'm gonna join them. So we gonna all three of us gonna do the Bernie. Then get Carmelo Anthony. You know, I see him dance sometimes. They got some clips of him in practice, so he got a little step, and he'll be juking. Dwight Howard, man, that man can juke. I know he's usually from Atlanta. So he does all the look, snap in, lean back, do two-step, walk it out, all those crazy dances. So he'll add a little Southern flavor to it, and he'll get it going, you know, with that goofy smile. So he'll go ahead and do a little two-step, and I'm sure he'll kick it in with the Bernie. So that'll be my other guy who will be on my dancing team. LeBron James, he'll be on my dancing team too, because I remember him, Dwight, and Shaq had a battle in an All-Star game, which was fun to watch. LeBron has some moves, had a little footwork, he slide. I don't know if he can, he's my age. I'm pretty sure he can still do it. If I can still do it, he can still do it. And he's an athlete. I mean, he just got to drink Gatorade, not Powerade. I know, cramp jokes. Sorry, folks. One thing I can do. So LeBron James, he'll be on my dancing team. John Wall, he's going to be on my dancing team because you have a dance named after yourself. He does a little arm thing where he kind of go from side to side and flick his wrist. And they got a song called Do the John Wall. You get a song named after yourself. That's pretty cool, man. I'm not going to lie. So do the John Wall. He'll do little John Wall. And he always do like little kick and switch and everything like that. That little dude from Raleigh can dance, man. Not little, he's taller than me, but you know what I mean, as far as NBA size, you know, he's small, he's a guard, so that's what I'm trying to refer to. He's taller than me, so I'm not going to sit here and try to call this man little. Another guy I can call little is Nate Robinson. That guy's little, because I am taller than Nate Robinson, so there. Nate Robinson will be on my dancing team. He'll be getting a little step going on too, so I like to have that on my dancing team, so I challenge anybody to come step with my dancing team. And you know what? We're going to have our headbands on. We're gonna wear black and green. And I know we got some people here that wear Nike, but one day they're wearing Adidas. We got to go to classes, so we'll get a little break dance going on. And then, of course, you know, anybody want to step up to us, let us know. We have a nice little break dancing team, so I'm pretty sure my team will win. And I'm pretty sure when the guys come back on, they probably want to do their breakdancing teams. If not, they always hate my choice of topics anyways. So, but they want to make their own team. By all means, step up to the plate because my team is pretty darn good. But would have been kind of cool because we would have picked one, and I probably would have had to not have so many guys on my team. But it is what it is. So, and that's right, LeJohn. LeJohn's still here, kicking it with me. You know, we're about to wrap it up. And that's right, LeJohn. You there, boy?
What?
Yeah, he's still here.
Okay.
LeJohn making his cameos every now and then. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap it up from my end over here. You know, this is, of course, I appreciate you listening. This is a solo podcast today. Like I told you, Kevin is out of town. Our other guests has had anything else to do. So make sure you do follow us on Twitter. Shout out to Twitter. You just follow us in Balls Not Court. My Twitter @name is in the mind of CP. My buddy who is not here, who is in Orlando, once again, Mr. Kevin Carter. His Twitter name is @KevinC2415. Make sure you give us a follow and ask any question that you'd like to ask. We'd like to hear from our listeners and everything like that. I want to give a shout out, man. I actually been checking who's been downloading our podcast. We have a few. I have to say, Canada's been downloading our podcast. I'm very excited about that. I know plenty of people in the USA have been downloading our podcast. Shout out to Wichita, Kansas. They've been downloading our podcast. Of course, people in Jacksonville, Boston, Tampa, Miami had a lot of downloads recently this week too. So we're just trying to get this out here. So that's why I said we couldn't stay still. If I had to do one by myself, I was going to do one by myself. And it shows you I do talk a lot, okay, people? I just let my guests and I let my partner in crime go ahead and do the breakdowns for y'all. But believe me, I can hold it down, okay? I can hold it down. But no, real talk, man. Shout out to the people that do download our episodes and our podcast. We do much appreciate it. Even if you take about 5 minutes, 10 minutes to listen to us, it's much, much appreciated. So, but like I said, anyways, you can still get the podcast. You can download it at Podomatic. You can go to Facebook. You can go to Twitter, of course. I already gave you our Twitter information. You can go to Stitcher. We got it on the Windows and Zoom market. We have it on Miro Guide, Double Twist, iTunes. I mean, practically, man. We got this iTunes. We got this iTunes. We got this podcast everywhere. So you can really download it anywhere, man. So that's why I say it's really not an excuse to download it. You can get it practically anywhere. I'm still trying to get on BlackBerry market, but their link is not working for some odd reason. But whatever, we'll get that. Hopefully they get that fixed soon. One time though, make sure you check out the Hardwood Nation. You go visit them at the www.thehardwoodnation.com. They are the fastest NBA news source, made by fans for fans. I'm a blog contributor for the site, and I know CL has been getting at me to put a piece out. I will do one soon, brother. One soon. I keep saying that. I know I keep saying that, but I will get a piece out for you soon. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said before, it's going to wrap it up. Just to cover the current events, do my crazy rapid fire here. So it's been a pleasure. Thanks for listening. And please, if you have any questions, hit us up on Twitter, hit us up on Facebook. I'm glad to answer them. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Cortez Paul signing off for the Balls Not Court podcast. Y'all have a wonderful Saturday. Take care, guys.